The night was still, broken only by the soft lapping of water against the rocky shore. A thick fog rolled in over the lake, shrouding the world in eerie silence. Luca stood on the crumbling dock, staring into the abyss of the water. His flashlight beam barely cutting through the dense mist, casting odd shadows that seemed to dance on the surface. He had heard the stories his entire life, tales of the Mostro Lacustre, the monster that lurked in the lake. It was said to have 6 legs, wings like a demon, and the head of a serpent, a beast from ancient times feared by the locals for centuries. Tonight, Luca was determined to see it for himself. His family had lived at the lake for generations, and the legends were passed down with reverence, like a warning. As a boy, he had always been drawn to these tales, imagining what it would be like to face the creature. Some said it was a guardian of the lake, punishing those who dared to plunder its depths. Others spoke of it as a remnant of a curse, bound to the waters for eternity. As an adult, Luca's fascination turned into obsession. He spent countless nights at the dock, waiting, hoping for a glimpse of the beast that had haunted his dreams since childhood. Tonight, everything felt different. The air was heavier, the fog thicker than usual, even the birds were silent, as if the entire world was holding its breath. Luca's heart pounded in his chest as he stepped closer to the edge of the dock. His friends had long since stopped coming with him on these midnight vigils. They thought he was crazy, casting shadows, but Luca was convinced that the monstro was real. Suddenly, the water rippled. At first, it was subtle, like a fish darting beneath the surface. But then the ripples grew, spreading out in concentric circles as though something massive was stirring from the depths. Luca froze, his flashlight trained on the spot where the water seemed to churn. The fog swirled above the lake, and for a moment, Luca thought he could see shapes moving within it, unnatural, twisted shapes. The stories had always been vague about the monstro's exact appearance, but one thing was consistent: its eyes. Fiery, red eyes that glowed through the fog, watching and waiting. Luca's pulse quickened as he scanned the mist, searching for the telltale sign. His breath hitched when, out of the corner of his eye, he saw them. 2 glowing orbs piercing the darkness. Luca's hand trembled, but he didn't dare move. The eyes were fixed upon him, unblinking, calculating. Slowly, the water began to rise, bubbling and frothing as something immense and ancient emerged. First, Luca saw the tip of the serpentine head, scales gleaming slick in the dim light. Its jaw was lined with rows of needle-like teeth, razor sharp. Behind it, its leathery wings unfolded, dripping with water, their span so wide that it blotted out the sky. 6 legs, each ending in a clawed foot, gripped the rocks as the creature hauled itself onto the shore, its body coiled and muscular, moving with grace. Luca's mind screamed at him to run, but his feet were rooted to the dock. The monster towered before him, its gaze never wavering. He could feel the weight of its presence, an overwhelming sense of dread washing over him. The creature tilted its head slightly as if studying him, deciding whether he was friend or foe. Luca swallowed hard, every instinct screaming that he was prey. The monster's tail, long and sinuous, lashed against the ground, creating a low, rumbling hiss that vibrated through the earth. It was a sound Luca had never heard before, primal and full of menace. And yet, there was something almost mesmerizing about the creature, a beauty in its monstrous form. Luca had always imagined the monstro as a mindless beast, a terror of the lake, but now, standing in its shadow, he could sense its intelligence, a cold, ancient cunning. Time seemed to stretch as Luca and the monstro locked eyes. He felt like a mouse caught in the gaze of a cobra, paralyzed by fear yet unable to look away. The creature's wings unfurled fully now, casting a dark, menacing silhouette against the foggy backdrop. With a sudden, sharp movement, it lowered its massive head toward Luca, the heat of its breath washing over him, smelling of brine and decay. For a brief, terrifying moment, Luca thought it was over. He could feel the cold sting of panic clawing at his chest, his legs finally responding to the desperate urge to flee. But just as he turned to run, the creature reared back, letting out a guttural roar that echoed across the lake. The sound was deafening, a primal cry that sent shockwaves through the air. Luca stumbled back, tripping over the edge of the dock and falling into the water with a splash. The cold was a shock to his system, snapping him out of his stupor. Gasping for breath, he clawed his way to the surface, eyes darting around in search of the creature. The Mostro was still there, standing on the shore, watching him with those burning red eyes. But it didn't follow him into the water. Instead, it spread its wings and, with a powerful beat, lifted itself into the air. Luca could feel the wind from its wings as it soared above him, disappearing into the fog as quickly as it appeared. Shivering from both the cold and from the adrenaline still coursing through his veins, Luca swam back to the dock, pulling himself up with shaking hands. He lay there for a moment, staring up at the sky, trying to process what had just happened. The Mostro was real. All the stories, all the legends, they were true. But as the fog began to lift, revealing the tranquil surface of the water once more, Luca couldn't help but wonder, why had the creature spared him? What had it seen in him that made it hesitate? As he stood, dripping wet, gazing out over the water, Luca knew one thing for certain. He would be back. The Mostro had shown itself to him, and now, more than ever, he was determined to uncover the truth behind the legend. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Stone Rock, and today we're talking about the Mostro Lacustre. Basically, it's just Italian lake monster. Didn't really have a name for it. It just, comes out as Italian lake monster. This topic was suggested to me by Spaghetti alla Paranormale, or Kulax, as he's known. And it was cool. I thought it was cool enough to do a video on, so here we are. Anyways, if you like what we do here, why not hit the like, subscribe button, click that little bell icon, that way you're notified whenever we upload new content. I'm trying to do 4 days a week now. This one took a little bit more research. It was a little obscure, but here we are, and we're going at it. So, without further ado, let's get going. Beneath the tranquil beauty of Lake Maggiore lies a tale of terror that has endured for centuries. This sprawling lake, with its serene waters and picturesque islands, hiding a chilling secret, a monster known as the Mostro Lacustre. For generations, locals have spoken of this winged, snake-headed creature lurking beneath the depths, emerging from the shadows of history and folklore alike. Our story begins on the western shores of Lake Maggiore, near the ruins of the Castelli di Canero. These crumbling fortresses, standing defiant in the lake, are remnants of a violent chapter in the local history. The castles were once strongholds of the notorious Mazzarditi brothers, local lords who ruled the surrounding area with an iron fist in the early 1300s. Their reign, however, was anything but peaceful. Known for their cruelty and greed, the brothers made countless enemies, including powerful families such as the Visconti. Legend has it that the Mazzarditi brothers, in a desperate attempt to protect their riches and fortress, created a tale of terror, a monster to patrol the waters of Lake Maggiore, scaring off would-be invaders and treasure hunters. The Mostro Lacustre, they claimed, had the head of a serpent, 6 legs, and moved like a great beast, and the leathery wings that stretched wide as it glided through the lake's misty waters. Though those who dared approach would meet a gruesome end, dragged into the abyss by the creature. This tale, born from the fearsome reputation of the Mazzarditi, was intended to keep intruders away from the hidden wealth. But was it just a story, or did the brothers know something more? For centuries, locals around Lake Maggiore have spoken of strange sightings in the water. Fishermen, out in the early morning mist, have reported seeing large, shadowy figures moving beneath the surface. Some even claim to have glimpsed the monstrous form of the Mostro Lacustre, its snake-like head emerging briefly before disappearing into the depths. In 1871, one such fisherman claimed to have encountered the creature while navigating near the Castelli di Canero. According to his account, the waters beneath his small boat began to churn violently, and a long, scaly body rose from the lake. 6 muscular legs, he claimed, propelled the creature with terrifying speed, and before he could react, the beast's head, with its gleaming reptilian eyes, rose from the surface, glaring at him before sinking back into the dark water. The story spread quickly, but like many tales before, it was often dismissed as nothing more than a production of superstition. Yet, these sightings persist to this day, fueled by the legend of the Mostro Lacustre. The legend of the Mostro Lacustre, however, is not without speculation. Many believe the creature could be tied to earlier myths and beliefs about the lake. Long before the Mazzarditi brothers, the region was steeped in legends of serpentine creatures that inhabited the waters of Italy's lakes and rivers. Could the brothers have exploited these older stories, breathing new life into ancient myths that keep people away from their fortress? It's not unusual for cryptids and lake monsters to serve as warnings, guarding sacred or hidden places. In this case, it seemed likely the brothers used the tale to their advantage, but as time passed, the story took on a life of its own, growing beyond their control. Lake Maggiore's reputation as a place of mystery and danger didn't end with the defeat of the Mazzarditi. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, the lake became known as a place where oddities and strange occurrences were frequent. Witnesses have reported eerie sounds, low growls echoing across the water, strange disturbances beneath the surface, and even sightings of massive, unknown animals moving through the lake's depths. During the 20th century, a group of tourists claimed to have something arise from the water near Stresa, a popular lakeside town. According to their account, the creature appeared to have wings that shimmered in low light and a head that resembled a serpent. The sighting, though brief, left them shaken and puzzled. Theories ranged from a giant catfish to escaped exotic animals, but none could explain the sheer size of the creature they saw. The depths of Lake Maggiore remain largely unexplored though, with some areas reaching over 200 meters deep. Could it be that something ancient and unknown still lurks in these waters? Cryptozoologists have long speculated the lake monster could be undiscovered species of aquatic reptiles or even relics from a prehistoric era. Lake Maggiore is home to a species like the massive European catfish, which can grow up to 3 meters in depth. These creatures, while not monstrous, are enough to inspire fear when glimpsed through the mist. Perhaps the sighting of the Mostro Lacustre can be explained to these giant fish, mistaken for something more sinister, or perhaps the creature is a relic from another time, surviving in the lake's unexplored depths, occasionally rising to the surface to remind us of its presence. I'm not exactly sure how big a meter is. Yeah, I've always equated it to about 3 foot long, so 3 meters to me would be around 9 foot, which that's a big catfish. That could easily eat a child. If there was a child near, we're falling into the water and the catfish was hungry. Catfish will eat anything as well, so it's that's the thing. Catfish are they're wild. But what if the stories are more than just folklore? What if there is something lurking in the waters of the Lake Maggiore, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself? The tale of the Mostro Lacustre is a reminder of the power and myth and mystery of how legends can shape a place's history and identity. Whether born from the cunning minds of the Mazzarditi brothers or passed down from the more ancient traditions, the monster of the Lake Maggiore remains an enigma. Even now, as you stand on the shores of this beautiful lake, the waters seem to whisper secrets of a creature that might still patrol the depths, watching and waiting. So, what do you guys think of the Mostro Lacustre? Do you think it's just a folktale spun by the Mazzarditi brothers, who for all account were kind of warlords of the area? It would make sense that they would use fear and local superstition to kind of scare locals away from their fortress on an island in the middle of the lake. To me, that screams. That's exactly what that screams. Could it be just giant catfish being mistaken? Who knows? I'm sure some of the tales were of giant catfish that were mistaken for people. I wouldn't be surprised if, the catfish had a lot to do with these sightings, to be honest with you, because that's a big fish. Almost 9 foot long, that's a big fish. Or even over 9 foot long, I'm not exactly sure. Actually, you know what? 3.28, so a meter is just over 3 foot. So yeah, over 9 foot long. That's a big fish. I would not be surprised if the giant catfish had a lot to do with rumors of lake monsters there. Now, it is also said that the lake monster is in different lakes and rivers around the area, Upon talking to Spaghetti alla Paranormale about this, he suggested I just focus on Lake Maggiore. So, pretty cool. I'm actually pretty cool that he suggested this one. If you guys want to suggest anything else, put it down below and I will add it to my list. You can also join our Discord. You can get a hold of me there. I'm in the Discord, active a lot in the voice chats. We play games and we talk through the voice chat while we're playing games. You know, the Discord is also just a cool place to hang out. Tons of cool people in there. If you want to support channel, there's a merch shelf down below. You can go check out all the merch. It's really cool merch. We've had nothing but compliments about it. So, and if you want to support the channel more directly, there's a PayPal link above. Everything came through the PayPal, and the merch shop goes back into keeping all of this going. You know, keeping the lights on and all that kind of stuff. So, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.